Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our January 5th, 2001 legislative meeting, our first meeting of the new year. I want to welcome everybody and wish everybody a happy new year, and I hope the year turns out somewhat better than the last one ended. So anyway, so we've all had a chance to look at the agenda. I take a motion to approve today's agenda. Councilor Waters, any additions or deletions? Dale, you have something? Oh, you just had your hand up. Good. Sorry. Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Thank you. And now we look at the minutes of our last ledge meeting. I'll accept a motion for those. Councilor Warwa, thank you very much. Everybody's had a chance to go through them. Any errors or omissions within those minutes? Seeing one, nobody. All in favor? Gary. Councilor Lemko, are you hearing us good? Will you be able to speak or just the thumbs up?
No, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just get feedback on my phone.
Okay, thank you. Okay, first up, Mr. Paul Casey.
Your Worship, this is the letter from the MD Minburn Foundation for their 2021 requisition. It is the total requisition for the foundation was $350,000. Our share of that requisition was $150,884. That compares to a 2019 requisition total of $237,000 and our share of $105,831. So that represents about a 43% increase in the requisition, which, as Councillor Barry previously mentioned, we collected on behalf of the foundation and remitted to them.
Okay, I guess we'll take a motion to, we don't need motion here. That's right, we don't need that motion. So what does that mean to the average homeowner in Vegreville?
I haven't figured that out, Your Worship, so I'm not exactly certain.
Okay. Anybody on the board would like to speak? Okay, go ahead, Councilor Barry.
Yes, as Deputy Chair of the board, MD Minburn board, this is not a decision that was taken lightly. It's a matter of the fact that the requisition hasn't changed since 2008. There's been a belief of previous boards to us that raising the rents was a more preferable way than requisitioning. I would suggest that's because all the board members are councillors. The aspect is that when you continuously raise the rent, it's the poor residents that have to try and come up with the extra money. When we have to guarantee on the board that they receive, that they can keep $322 of cash spending, if they can't meet that, then the board is actually subsidizing residents of lower income status. It's not everybody qualifies under a LAP grant because of their incomes. So it's with COVID-19 particularly, it's been a challenging time to try and keep the lodge at full capacity. And increasing the rent further diminishes the opportunity to have residents come there because we're no longer compatible, or we're in competition with other places, put it that way. It's unfortunate that it has to be a catch-up. This should have been a small increase in requisition over the years. The previous boards have not recognized the way that the requisitions actually should be calculated. And so the residents themselves will have to understand this is very much like the school tax, where this council really doesn't have an opportunity to have a direct say in that levy. The school tax is collected, set by the province and collected by the municipality and paid to the province. And this works somewhat similar. And as well as I recognize that this council has done everything it can to have a zero tax increase, and it will have a zero tax increase, requisitions change that picture. And so that is what the background is on this, is that moving forward to keep the lodge operating, the municipalities that are involved in Minburn Foundation, that's Vegreville, the county, Innisfree and Manville, all have to pay a little bit more this year. If there's any consolation, the county pays a little more than what the town does. So that's one of the only ones that it works that way. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions on the correspondence we've received from Homestead Lodge Foundation? Seeing none, I'll go ahead, Councillor Waters.
Wanted to add that part of this is due to the low vacancy rate. Some of that is directly due to COVID, self-isolation and that kind of thing. It is tough on our senior population as it is, but coming into the facility, they would have to self-isolate the 14 days. So that doesn't help with the vacancy rate, as well as the real estate markets. A lot of them need to sell their home before they can move into the lodge or anywhere else for that matter, but the lodge in particular. As a realtor, we have seen an increase in sales, so that may turn around, but we do again have the issue of COVID not helping us with the vacancy rate.
Well, I think you talked to all the facilities in town, vacancies are up in all facilities. There's lots of room right now in our in the senior housing market for that quality of care there. So, okay, we will see this come to Monday's meeting, I guess, Paul?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next is Cliff.
Happy New Year, everyone. We have the Talk of the Town schedule. If we could have some volunteers, should I say, for our talking segments, at least for January and February. So we have this week being January 7, and then 14, 21, and 28. So anyone want a particular date?
Okay, well, everybody put their hands down. I'll first of all, is there anything, any message we need to get out there first from any departments? Councilor Warwa.
Can you hear now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So if we did have one that's open more towards the end of the month, through tourism, we might need to discuss some recruitment. We may have opening for some board members, so that might be an opportunity. Also, a second topic I could speak on possibly would be maybe a bit of a facilities update if we know what's happening with some of our rinks and whatnot, but I could certainly do a tourism one towards the end of January if that would work.
So the 21st of January you'll take? Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there, she doesn't even know it, but she's taking January 21st. We'll email her that back later. You're good? Thanks. Okay, so Dale, you got anything that the residents need to know right now?
Not right now. There's not a lot of snow removal going on, so we're just busy out there doing sewer lines. So all good so
Okay.
far. Smooth.
Bill? Any messaging? Nothing?
Well, not at this point, but like Councilor Wawa said, there may be something in relation to the outdoor rink and facilities, depending on what happens with the province's announcement next Monday.
Okay. Counselor Waters, you're on a new board.
Yes, I am on CALS, but right now they don't have a lot going on. We do have a meeting on the 13th. So where would that fit? Area recording on the 14th. I can bring anything new from there.
Okay.
What do you think? I mean, you're new to the board, see what's happening there, and maybe bring on the chair or somebody with you to
Yeah,
get the message
Okay.
across what CALS is doing.
yeah, I could do that.
So you're taking the 14th.
Yes.
Excellent. That leaves the 7th right now for this month. Let's see. Anybody got any ideas? Councilor Riddick.
I would be happy to speak on economic development, but we haven't had a meeting since the end of October, so probably the end of the month might be a better idea. But I'll
Yeah.
let Cliff.
And after we have some closed session discussion today, there might be some stuff that'll be adding up by then too. So from economic development.
So I'd be happy to speak near the end of the month. And there might also be an opportunity to bring some of the parties that are interested in working together for the healthcare aid, just to drum up some interest. So that might be a good choice for either the 28th or the 4th, maybe, and either the 28th or the 4th for economic development. So,
Okay, so we're gonna put you in for the 28th.
okay.
So that leaves Councilor Berry for the 7th. What do you got?
I have absolutely nothing at this point in time. I was going to suggest that I have seen some correspondence about Family Day and what could potentially take place. So towards that time period in February. The other thing is I just received an email from Ed Stelmach confirming that as of January the 1st, I am now officially on the hospital board. So at some point, once I actually have gone to a meeting and got familiar with it, I would love to talk with the chair and maybe come on and talk about COVID health and the hospital and et cetera. But I don't know what I could do for the 7th.
Okay. Anybody
I
have
don't
any?
know whether there's a
comments?
COVID update or not.
Well, we gotta wait for all the officials and government people to get back from Hawaii before we get any more updates. But we'll be fine.
That the province is due to announce COVID updates on January 11 on the Monday.
Mm.
Councilor Lemko, would you like to do a talk of the town from your home on your telephone, talking about your experience with COVID?
I would love to. I will, what would be a good time? Maybe after the announcement, whatever. You pick a day and I will work towards
We're
that.
talking the 7th. I'm gonna set it up with the radio station that you'll be ready to go on the 7th.
That's like two sleeps?
Yes, and we're gonna pick a good time for you so you get to have a nap.
Yeah, well, that's usually all day. Okay, well, whatever, you set it up and you can just text me or.
Yeah,
Let me
I'll
know.
set it up with Jameson for you, and then he'll get a hold of you and pick out the best time.
Yeah, I'm good. I'll do it.
And you let the community know how serious this
Yeah,
this
it'll
virus
probably,
really is.
probably good timing because I think the news advertiser is running my story. So the next day will be a follow-up to that, so,
And it'd be nice too to keep while it's still fresh in your memory.
yeah. Yeah, well, it's quite fresh. I don't think I'll lose that for a while.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. So Cliff, maybe we'll have this conversation again in the middle of the month at our next ledge meeting. And maybe by then, a couple of departments may have some things that might be more important than just us talking.
Okay, I was going to ask about the February 4th taping for, because that's a week ahead of the Family Day.
Mhm.
Would you be interested in that one, Councillor Barry? It would air on February the 8th, which is a week before Family Day.
Okay, I'll set something up. I'll talk with, I believe it's Megan, is it? No. No. Sorry. I know who it is, but I will.
Emma.
Emma, right. Thank you very much. Apologize for that.
And then
I'll
we'll-
talk with her and see
Okay.
where we're at as to what could potentially be coming up.
Okay, and I'll bring this back to the next ledge meeting.
Yeah, and we'll go through a couple of the departments too and see if there's anything that they want to get their point across on anything.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so next are my items. So we have a date for the meeting with the MLA, or we have two dates, Cliff, is that where we're at?
We have January 19, which is the next legislative committee meeting date.
Okay,
That was, that was the latest date that I had available.
okay,
That
so
would work with council's timing as well.
we need to put some stuff on our agenda. I would like to put a conversation with our MLA regarding Bueller Industries, just so that she can give us a little background on exactly what the province knows and when did they hear, and then what our thoughts are moving forward. So we can start there. Anybody else have anything that Councillor Broadjack?
If she could provide us with an update for the COVID vaccine rollout. If this morning, when Councillor Rudick and I attended the health meeting, we were advised that possibly some facilities would be only given 24 hours notice that here it is, it's happening. So if MLA Jackie has any kind of information as far as the rollout goes.
Okay. Well, I would like to have another discussion with our MLA regarding the hemp sector and just where the province, the government today, where they stand and what their thoughts are moving forward. Maybe we could talk about that report that's been sitting on a shelf for 2 years that we'd like to see. Councillor Rudick.
I think on that vein too, anything that's related to economic development in terms of diversifying sectors and making sure that we've got ag industry support, including hemp and other opportunities. Additionally, another agenda item that we should probably be talking about is the next version of municipal funding from the province, as well as policing. Those are things that have sort of dropped down the scale of importance as COVID has taken more precedence, but we don't want to lose track of those items either.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's a timeline set up for the release of the information on funding for municipalities. Hopefully she can give us some insight on where they're going with that. I don't know a lot about this new Ministry of Job Creation, and it seems to be the new word that they're throwing around, this job creation. So I'd like to know basically where it's at and if there's anything that would help our community here with where do we fit into this, or I don't even understand. They talk about it, but I haven't heard a lot of details about it. So anybody else have anything they'd like to discuss with our MLA? And it will be a meeting on Zoom is what we're doing, Cliff? Yeah. So it will be a dinner meeting, so everybody make a grilled cheese sandwich at your place and we'll get ready to go. I'll take one over to our MLA across the fence. It'll be fine. Okay, next up is the Mazankowski Memorial. Oh, go ahead, Cliff.
Just a question on that. Would you, given that it's a legislative committee meeting date, do you want me to set this up for 6 o'clock? The MLA meeting?
When is the ledge set again?
The ledge is, February.
Yeah, so I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
I mean, if she can't clear her calendar on that date, then maybe we'll take a look at it. You'll probably know for sure before the next council meeting, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Okay, and if she can't clear her calendar to be in the afternoon, we'll make something else work.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. The Mazankowski Memorial discussions. So we talked about this. I'm not sure the best way to go about it. I mean, first of all, we'd have to reach out to the family and see what their thoughts are on us even taking this on or moving forward at this time. But again, then if they're fine with it, we'd have to maybe engage the public in some ideas and some thoughts. Does anybody out there have any thoughts on moving forward with this? Councillor Borwa.
Okay, just want to make sure you're hearing me okay now. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, I think we definitely want to move forward, but I spent some time since our last meeting thinking about some of the things, and I just kind of wanted to throw it out there again that I think we have an opportunity to do a memorial, but do a memorial that could really benefit the community too. I really, really like the idea of us considering a scholarship in the name, something that was ongoing. I understand that has additional costs, but I think that we can look at the fact that we could benefit as a community, especially given that you can set your own criteria. So you could set the criteria to possibly, if we had wanted, have something to do with social studies, either the completion of certain levels or the grading within that completion, but we could make something to the lines of a Mazankowski citizenship scholarship. And that would be an opportunity to attach our own criteria to it and possibly encourage that part of that citizenship is volunteerism within the town of Vegreville to a club or organization that you are not a current member of. I think that would be quite fitting of the years of given service that Mr. Mazankowski gave, and something that could benefit our community in the long run and maybe increase tourism, everything's tourism in my mind some days, volunteerism. So that's just something I just was thinking about over the break and wanted to throw out. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any thoughts? Councillor Rudick?
I think given particularly the fact that traditional memorials right now, in the way that we're used to having them, being able to have funerals and being able to interact with one another, diminishes the opportunity to have this discussion. So I like Councillor Warwa's idea. I know that we had talked about potentially naming a facility or a location in honor of the Mazankowski name. We already have 50th Street, for example, that's in his name. But I think allowing people the opportunity that worked with him or would like to memorialize him, because even just talking in some of the boards, there were a lot of interesting stories from some of the board members that were their first contact with politics or being involved in election campaigns were Mazankowski's first election runs, for example. At any rate, I think that allowing for the public to participate in this would be really important, and allowing us to be a part of that discussion would be able to facilitate that. So whether the scholarship is taken on by the Mazankowski family, if they wanted to, or if we facilitate that, or if we went with another facility naming or something along those lines, I think the public would definitely want to be a part of that. So I think you identifying that right from the top is an important part of it too.
Okay, I'll get a hold of Roger and he'll talk to his mom, and or I'll call Lorraine. We'll see what the thoughts are and just get what their input may be regarding the scholarship and stuff. I would imagine that there's already Maz already has two, I think, two different types of scholarships, but something that we could co-sponsor here or something with the blessing of the family. I'll see what their thoughts are and then we'll move forward with it. Okay, thank you. Next up is the meetings that we had with the doctors in town, and we said we were going to have a follow-up with some of their concerns, and so this is on our agenda. Cliff brought it back up here, so we still haven't had that meeting with the police regarding their operations day to day in the town, and this was on our agenda. So I guess, Cliff, that's on me that I guess the regional guy is not available, or he can't make himself available, or we're not sure, but I know the staff sergeant has offered a couple of times lately to have the meeting without him. I was sort of waiting for a time that we could meet with the regional officer that Terry reports to, but I guess that's not going to happen. Go ahead, Cliff.
We have not had any confirmation for available times from the district office representative.
Okay. And the fact that Councillor Barry has just get recognized to get on the board, hasn't been to a meeting yet. Again, I know that we know what their concerns are, so I'm not sure the best way to tackle trying to convince Covenant Health or Alberta Health that it's worthwhile investing in some security at the hospital. Any ideas? Okay. Councillor Rudick.
Well, when we first had this discussion, and this was a couple of years ago, the security concern has been omnipresent, and it's not lessened with COVID. The pressures of mental health and the types of patients that they're seeing, even with restrictions currently, just highlight the need for a better way to be able to screen and protect both the staff and the patients at the facility. And if we are still on track for implementing some of our security cameras, there was discussion before the changeover in management in the facility manager from Anthony Brannan to Kim Weinkoff to discuss how we could simultaneously source our security cameras at the same time they are. So I don't know where we are on our project or if there's anything that would dovetail with them, but I think we do need to have that conversation again. Security is one of the major things, as well as making sure that we have strong support throughout the community. And I think even just this morning, the type of sharing information that happens when there's everybody at the table is really important. And I think that's what the physicians are feeling disconnected.
Okay, so again, the cameras are for data collection, so we can definitely look at it. So when do you think the next meeting is going to be, Councillor Barry? Did they give you any info?
No, they haven't given me any information right now, but I may send an email to Tara. She is chair, so at least this will be an opportunity again for town and council and county to work together. So I'll send her an email and try and find out just exactly when the next meeting is.
Okay, and where did Councillor Broadjack go? Good. Oh. So, Councillor Rudick, you were at a meeting today, or there she is, Councillor Broadjack, you had to get coffee. So, Councillor Broadjack, you were at a meeting this morning, on a Zoom meeting, regarding the healthcare, the health of our healthcare in this region. Is a quarterly meeting. Is that what you would sum it up as, or?
That's right. And I think the majority of the conversation this morning, of course, was around COVID-19 and how it's affecting all of the different departments, facilities, what it's affecting. But so there was, this morning, there wasn't any mention of security regarding the physicians' concerns.
Okay. So I've been thinking about this, and we know how not just doctors and nurses, but everybody that works at in the health industry within our community. And I think that we better find some way to help them, recognize them with a big thank you from the community. I don't know exactly what that's going to take, but I think it's about time. It's been going on a year. They've been putting themselves in harm's way and trying to help all the citizens here. So I think what we could do is try to brainstorm a bit about some way of showing some public support from everybody in the community to get behind everybody in that profession. So we should take a look at that and set up subcommittee and to get something rolling there. So I would, Councillor Lemko, thank you for putting your hand up or taking that on with us. I appreciate that. But we will recognize in the best way that we feel we can, and we'll get the community involvement in it too. I don't care if it's letters from every kindergarten student in this town or what it's going to take, or maybe we'll all make some crayon drawings or something and send to them to put on their fridge. But we will recognize them. Okay, so we'll wait for Councillor Barry to get back from a little bit of information this next meeting. And Cliff, we'll still keep working on that RCMP issue to get a meeting set up. Okay, next is the naming of the Southeast 17th Industrial Park. So I think we should make it a bit of a contest. Councillor Warwa, what do you got?
No, I just wanted to say that I like that, because anytime we can involve the community in being part of it, they seem to have more, whether I know it's different than a park, but they seem to have more pride in it and more excitement, and they follow it more. So I think that's great.
Okay, what's the prize going to be? Invited to a Zoom meeting of council? Okay, so you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna, by Monday, everybody try to have some ideas, and we'll put some ideas together, and we'll put a little committee together, an ad hoc committee, and we'll try to get this little contest off the ground. Okay? Thank you. Next up, we'll just go around the table and just hear what everybody's hearing in town here. So I'm gonna start with who's at the top of my screen, so nobody move, okay? That's you, Councillor Barry, at the top of my screen, so.
Well, I was going to talk quickly about the family day and about being finally on the hospital board, but I haven't been hearing a lot around town because I've been at home pretty well straight through. I think that things have been going fairly well here. I think that I'd really like to see the opportunity for the children to get back into sports and get back into a better school regime. This COVID-19 just isn't working for them. That's all I don't really have anything to say.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Warba.
Well, it's been a little bit quieter. Having said that, I have gotten several calls on one topic, and it's about our outdoor spaces. So first off, I want to commend, Phil and his team. We've had very positive responses from what I've heard, and an appreciation for the fact that they've done their part to try and offer additional outdoor opportunities. So that's the first thing, and thank you for that work that's been done. One of the things that came up, and it wasn't a concern because people did not want to see usage, it was a concern that came just because of seeing some of what's going on in other places in the province, and they just were looking at clarity and just had concerns to make sure that people are trying and wanting to do the right thing, and they want to know how to direct their kids. So one of the things that ended up being an issue was that the ODR and some of the outdoor spaces. Originally, there was the announcement was for 10 people. Then they changed it. And I think one thing we can all agree on is the province has not done a fabulous job when it came to changes with announcements and clarity on usage of different facilities and whatnot. So one of the changes that came in is they suddenly made it that your outdoor space wasn't set at 10. It was set based upon a really kind of convoluted formula that they came up with, and you had to work out size. And so basically what it ended up being was an outdoor rink, if you had taken a full-size rink, could still have 50 people on it. An outdoor rink of our size would have been somewhere in the 20, 25 range. The smaller ones could have been 10, a really small one could have been 6, just to make it difficult and much, more confusing for staff and well, basically a pain. But the fact is that unfortunately, people have a lot more time on their hands. So multiple people found this additional appendix and had contacted me. So their concern was just this, that we had everything listed as 10, and they had wondered why, why in this case we had decided to go stronger than the provincial regulations. So I do want to thank Phil. I had reached out just to get a few things because I needed some answers, and they were able to kind of provide some of what they had been looking at and being careful. But the biggest concern for everybody was they didn't want to see people getting in trouble. And so they were just asking again for a little bit more clarity. If you've noticed, our outdoor rink has been used anytime I've driven by it. There has been a lot of kids on it. And I think it's fair and right for us to say that we know we've seen more than 10 people on it. So I guess what I'm just asking for is, are we still sticking at the number of 10 is the question that was given to us. And I mean, everyone's looking at what happened in Calgary and they're concerned. I tried to explain to people that it wasn't about the number of kids. It was about the fact that, because you can have, I spoke with a colleague in Edmonton, and because I was concerned when I drove through the city, and the YMCA has 50 people on it. And I said, why do we have 50 when we're saying 10? And they confirmed that it wasn't 10, that it was in fact very much to do with the size. So again, we can put any regulations. I just want to make sure that whatever we put, people are aware, and people are just concerned about getting in trouble. So I guess that is kind of the only thing with it. Also, there was some confusion because, of course, we've heard the no shinny, which is in regards to and not being able to go out there and pick up a shinny game. But of course, within a family, a father and son or father and sons can bring out, a stick and play. So there's just some concern that we are following the regulations and not opening up an opportunity to have this neighbor drive by and see somebody that they don't want out there and then calling it in, and then it being a pick and choose of enforcement. So that's what I got. And I got 6 different people contact me on that one. So.
Okay, so the rule is, I've driven by there every day, and sometimes there's more than 10, but they seem to be distancing. I didn't see any shinny games. I mean, was the province, it was never hard and fast that it had to be only 10 on a regulation rink size? Or is that what you're saying everybody in the community thought it was?
That was how they said it originally. They sort of said 10. Sorry, Phil, I didn't see your hand go till just now, but I'll let Phil correct there. But that was what they said originally, and then they came out with this appendix. But I'll turn it to Phil, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Your Worship. So originally, the restrictions announced on December 10th were to allow 10 as per an outdoor social gathering. The restrictions were changed just prior to Christmas with the addition of a formula very similar to the business maximum occupancy. Facilities, municipal enforcement have been monitoring the ODR usage. There's been no real concerns that the town hasn't received any calls regarding the ODR that I'm aware of. So according to the formula, it's actually 26 maximum that were allowed on the ODR. I didn't want to, we didn't change anything over the Christmas break. We were just kind of monitoring it to see how we were doing. There was a couple of times myself and facilities have counted There was 15 at one time, and they weren't playing shinny. They're basically skating around, and they were just shooting pucks on the goalie. So again, is that a game? It's interpretation. Our other rinks don't qualify to this because they're not enclosed by boards. They're just simply outdoor skating surfaces. So they're not really considered an outdoor rink because they don't have boards. So if council wishes, we can increase it to the 26 at the ODR. Like I said, I didn't feel it necessary to have council convene over Christmas vacation to decide between 10 and 26, but because it really has not been that big of an issue.
I should clarify, I didn't get complaints either, Phil. So there wasn't that. It was more just people are inquiring and people scared to break the regulation and just saying like that they didn't want to see us just letting something go. They'd rather see us posting it how we want it to be. So there wasn't a complaint, definitely.
So we're gonna stick with 10-ish. So we've had no problems up to now, and if anybody phones you personally, yeah, then on the ODR, there's the new appendix allows for a few more. So
I guess I'd just like to see us then, because right now we have on our website saying 10. So I just kind of would like whatever we have it so that we're at that. So it doesn't look like we're saying 10, but just allowing 26, because we wouldn't allow that in any of our other facilities or spaces. So for me, I'm hoping that we do a consistency. If we're allowing up to a max, I'd prefer to see it that way, but I don't know what everyone else thinks.
Councillor Barry.
Well, it seems to me that if the residents believed it was 10, that they would probably be trying to stay within that quota, and the fact that we only see 10 or 12 on there, it might be because two of them think they're breaking it. If the provincial standard for that size of ice is 26, I think we should be consistent in saying it's 26. I don't feel comfortable with knowing that there's an appendix out there that says 26 and we're posting 10, unless we have a really good reason for it. And the provincial government doesn't seem to have a really good reason for it. So I'm trying to figure out what our good reason would be for it. So
we brought it in a mask bylaw because we thought that we might slow down the spread. I mean, I don't really see it as a problem.
If 10 is what should be there, then the provincial government shouldn't change their appendix to 26. They shouldn't have given us a formula. They should have stuck at 10. So I mean, like the aspect is the provincial government really is not doing a good job of explaining things to people. They're allowing professional sports when kids can play just as safely. I mean, the aspect is let's get real with what's going on. We are harming what's going on for the kids tremendously, and keeping them housed up in a room without the ability to be in contact with friends or to have exercise is demoralizing to them. And they don't have a very good future if we keep this going. If the provincial government is saying a nice service of that size could handle 26, then I guess we should say 26, because I don't think they know what they're doing in either. So that's my opinion.
All those that want to change the website to 26, put your hand up now. There we go. Councillor Rudick, you're checking in with some thoughts.
I had questions, maybe more on the line of concerns. I have heard from people that are interested in going on the outdoor rink and have opted to not go because there were too many people based on the rules, because some people need to be told explicitly not to do something, otherwise they just do what they want to. And others of us like to just follow the rules, just throwing that out there. And so in this instance, they were driving past, there's too many people, then they don't stop. So I think at the danger of being confusing, we need to be specific, and people like clear guidelines. So if the difference between the skating at the pond, for example, at the Egg Park has sort of that oval that was cleared, which is great space because it wouldn't be used for shinny. And I think the other thing too is that some people are watching a pickup or shooting of pucks and view that as shinny. So I think some other people maybe are confused about what shinny is. They're also confused about, I certainly didn't realize there was a difference between the number of people that are on the man-made lake, for example, or the other outside rink surfaces. I think we should share that information because some people know about it. We also need to be very specific so that people can follow the rules and also recreate safely. And I think increasing the number of people that are allowed there will allow other people to join in, because I think they're self-regulating. They're not going because they're already seeing too many people.
Well, if 10 was the limit before and we were seeing 15 usually, or 12 to 15 on there, now that we're saying 24, we'll probably see 32. So it'll be fine. Thank you. Anyway, Phil, update the website. Let everybody know that the ones without boards, take everybody you know out there, and just all we ask is everybody try to be respectful, that there's enough spacing and you're not playing hockey. And let everybody, if you watch some people pull up, you've been there for 2 hours, maybe give somebody else a chance. Okay, Councillor Waters. Thank you, Councillor Warwa.
I don't have too much. I was getting the thank yous of the extra ice time that is, or ice space that is out there. So Phil's department, again, thank you for that. A lot of kids have been cooped up and we've had a lot of warm weather, so we all know where that's at. And it was nice to see also people posting how they celebrated Christmas or New Year's virtually with family, FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, all of that. And also that our residents have been mindful of our rules, you know, with the masking and the visitations. You know, if you're single, you can do this. If you're a couple, you do that, that kind of thing. So a lot of that, I think our residents, we should applaud them as well for following the rules. It is tough. We are getting cabin fever. A lot of people are used to being on holidays at this time. Myself, I'd be planning to go in a couple of weeks. So yeah, instead I have to work, but that's okay. We will do what we have to do. So really not a lot, no committee meetings or anything like that. And looking forward to the new year.
Thank you very much. Councillor Rudick, you're up next.
Thank you very much. It's been a pretty quiet holiday season for us as well. And as I mentioned, some of the questions that I had from people was the ability to recreate outside safely. And there is a great appreciation for the number of great parks that we have and the space that we have. So if we can continue to share that with the public, because there are lots of spaces that people aren't aware that they're allowed to access, for example, that are public spaces. And the fact that we have some of these walkways labeled, for example, more people are walking in different areas. So they appreciate the ability to be able to snowshoe and walk, as well as try different things that they've never done before. So I just want to, again, thank our facility and recreation staff and encourage us to be very clear in communicating more opportunities. The only other thing that I had come forward is I've had a question about how we can memorialize people that have been lost in the last year. I've been hearing from people that there's a lot of things that they've missed. We've missed being able to mark graduations, weddings, and funerals. And one of the things that's come forward from somebody is that they felt that the community recognition of community members, usually a funeral is a time not just for the family to grieve a loss, but also as a community to come together. So I don't expect an answer from this format, but just that was sort of brought forward that they don't feel like the community is able to participate in that loss in the same way, and how we could be able to make sure that we recognize a lot of different people, not just Mr. Mazankowski like we were talking about, but other really important community members that we may have lost in the last year or in the upcoming time frame when we can't have regular funerals or weddings or those kind of receptions. So that was pretty much it. And again, very, very happy to hear Councillor Lemko's story ringing loud and clear. When I shared your post originally, it was at 30 shares, and the last time I checked was over 1,100 shares, and you've gone viral in more than one way, and we're so happy to see you here healthy and hale. So welcome back, Councillor Lemko, and thank you for being a great ambassador for the community.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Brajak.
Okay, I've had a relatively quiet Christmas season as well. I wanted to wish everyone a happy new year. And the weather's been great out there for all the kids staying home over Christmas holidays. On my way home today, I noticed that the walking trail just by the outdoor rink was well used. There was at least a dozen people on there in different groups, not all together, but you can see a lot of people are taking advantage of taking advantage of the weather right now. And welcome back, Councillor Lemko. Glad to see you back here for sure. I did have someone brought up a concern of some suspicious activity of a couple of residences near the Legion, criminal activity. So they reached out to see if town council could reach out to the RCMP. I'm sure that the RCMP is well aware of this, but whether we can have, whether the Legion puts up some kind of security cameras to see what is going on, and maybe could share this information with the RCMP. So I said that I would bring it forward to council. And that's everything that I've heard.
Maybe we should hire some more RCMP. Don't worry. It's definitely on our list to discuss outside the Vegreville branch of the RCMP, but. Okay, next up, Councillor Lemko. So first I want to say, I've been waiting. I purposely held you to the end to say that we're all very happy to have you back. We're very proud of the story that you've got out there, and the fact that you just keep pushing yourself forward every day to get better. We're very proud of you, and I do believe that everybody in this community is very proud of and how open you were to discuss your experience. So thank you for that, and good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, guys. As you know, I've been out of commission since December about the 4th, just getting back a little bit now. But what I want to say is the outpouring of prayers and support from the community has been unbelievable. Words of encouragement and council and senior staff, management, SMT, your words of encouragement and your support helped me through a really difficult time. And coming home on the 27th, the fire department had a little a place for it was like a welcome. I was so overwhelmed. I couldn't say enough. I cried very hard. So thanks to the fire department, thanks to you guys. And Cliff, thank you so much for your support. It means an awful lot. And that's my report. I'll take that committee on recognizing the doctors and the medical staff. We are so blessed to have what we have here. People have no idea the work that those people and the medical staff do. They recognize the need for me very quickly that I had to go to Edmonton. And my doctor, Dr. Gupta worked on that, and I was transferred to Edmonton, and the staff at the Royal Alec Hospital, under the tremendous workload, those nurses and doctors and the respiratory x-ray, and even the people cleaning the rooms, they are working tirelessly and short-staffed, emotional work, and risking themselves and their families. God bless them. They are the top shelf stuff. So, and that's all I got. Thank you, guys.
Okay, well, we won't let you off the hook so lightly next time, okay? Okay. So I just have one question. I've had a great number of calls over Christmas, usually concerned neighbors about their neighbors and their activities. And I've told them all that, try to be considerate as you possibly can. This is not, I'm trying to catch somebody. This is everybody trying to do the right thing. So, Bill, can you give me a little update on what's going on with the walking path at the golf course?
You read my mind, your worship. That's actually on my list.
God, that can't be good.
What, reading my mind?
Yeah, I don't want to get in there.
I have spoken with a couple of golf course members, and I'm just waiting for a decision from the executive to find out where they're at. We have a trail that was drawn out. They like it, and it was just a matter of getting golf course the executive final approval. So I'm just waiting, and I haven't heard back from them yet as of today. So
okay, thank you very much. Okay, let's move on to director's highlights. So Phil, you're up next.
I didn't even mute it. All right, thank you, and Happy New Year to everybody. On Monday, there'll be a request for council decision coming for the occupational health and safety commitment statement. This is something that council does annually to reaffirm their commitment to the health and safety policy. There's no changes to the document. So it's basically a simple reaffirmation of our commitment. The event center, just give you an update on the renovations progress. The demo is about 90% complete. It's very wide open there right now, and we just have a couple of small items to do, and then a support beam going in, and then they will start progressing forward on the actual construction. So looks quite good in there. Museum operations update. I've requested a museum ad hoc committee meeting for Wednesday, January 13th for 3 p.m. I'm just waiting to hear back from the museum board members on the committee if they're available. Just to let council know, the ones that are on the ad hoc committee, and I'll have an agenda to follow. If there's any items that the ad hoc committee members would like, please forward them to me and I'll put them on the agenda. I received a letter yesterday from Valid. I'll give this a read. So the letter is addressed to myself, Community Services Director. It's from Valid Association. Dear Mr. Rowe, when COVID-19 hit, Valid was forced to shut down programs for lack of adequate sanitization facilities. A great need was identified in this shortcoming. From great need can come great opportunity, and a vision began to form as we sought solutions to this dilemma. We needed additional washrooms and better hand washing stations and a fast solution. How do we best get our facilities upgraded to meet this need? How soon could we make this happen? How can we get our programs up and running again? A CFEP grant application for the building upgrade seemed like the most viable solution. We started to explore how such an addition would greatly benefit many in the community, like our relationship with the Rotary Club and others. We looked at how we could enhance our catering services and create a space other groups and private individuals could use. We looked at how such an upgrade could allow for more space from which to operate our catering. A small kitchenette and new bathrooms would greatly reduce traffic in our commercial catering area and our washrooms, therefore reducing distractions and improving safety for administrative staff during events. There are other catering services and there are other rental spaces, perhaps even in a way that brings both together, but none offer the ability to also bring together community members with those individuals often left on the fringe of society. Valid does have something special to offer. Valid is requesting the town of Vegreville write a letter of support that could be included with the grant application. We also ask that the town consider any other kind of contribution they feel they could provide, whether monetary or in form of goods and services that support said project. We apologize for the short turnaround time, but the pending grant application deadline is January 15th, 2021, and we would be thrilled to include a letter of support and details from town administrators. Thank you for your time and consideration. It is valued tremendously. Respectfully submitted, Lana Sims as Executive Director. So if council would wish, it would be nice to have a support letter from mayor and council on their CFAP application. I did speak with Lana today about what their project entails, and I think it's a great little project that would certainly benefit all the staff and the clients of Valid and what they do in the community, and I say offering their catering services as part of vocational training. Tremendous project. So I will leave that up to you, your worship, to decide on the letter. And
you'll bring this to Monday's meeting, the letter.
Okay.
And we'll discuss it there. Councilor Warwa.
I just feel they may have done this already, but if not, could you just maybe make sure that they've also reached out to their MLA, because I know that specific grant is the funding's given out based upon riding. So it would be good for them to try and get a support letter from them, or at least make sure that once they have the details all in place, that they send a copy to their local MLA.
In talking with her today, I believe she has sent it out to numerous organizations and our MLA, but I will double check with her.
Okay.
And that's all I have, your worship.
Thank you. Mr. De La Fave, you're up next.
Thank you, worship. My director highlights are short for this meeting. We obviously, after the budget of 2021 has been approved, we're now moving forward with procuring all our assets that we're to purchase, our capital items. Items that we need to be put on the Alberta Purchasing Connection are being put on there for request for proposals. We're getting that rolling now, which is good. Then the sooner we get the equipment that we need on the ground running, then the sooner we can use it. And of course, on and off throughout the Christmas break with MPE and our resident engineer, Harold O. Controls, working with the sewer lift station, the programming logical controllers, the SCADA systems, how we're connecting, types of ultrasound for level transmission. We're just putting all of this together now. So it takes a long time to get that together. And it's not that difficult to build the building. It's all the components that go into the building is where the engineering slows down as it gets more detailed, as you can appreciate. So those are my highlights for this meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody have any questions of either director there that I didn't give anybody a chance? So sorry about that. Okay, seeing none. Well, the lengthy one will take place. Mr. Paul Casey.
Well, your worship, it's not that lengthy, but what I will tell you is that the former owner of the CPC building paid his taxes before the end of December, all arrears and everything. So that was all cleared up. We collected about 87% of our tax levy this year. That compares to about 95% last year. The province still has not paid us, although they did send us an email in December saying sometime between whenever they sent the email and March 31st, we'll get our money. So they haven't paid us that yet. We have one house that we took over that when we inspected that property, it was full of furniture and personal belongings of the former owner. He has since contacted us and is working to pay off his arrears to get the title back into his name. He made a substantial payment before the new year, and I talked to him today, and he's trying to get that paid off in the next week or so. So then we can give him back his house and all his belongings, because we don't want to have to deal with that. So the interim audit happened in December, and there were no issues arising out of the interim audit. And the year-end audit, the final part of the audit is scheduled for February 22nd, 23rd, 24th. So, and that is my report.
So, Paul, you said that the audit was complete and there was no problems. You know, I received a letter from our auditors
I saw the letter,
and they confirmed that there was no problems.
right, for the interim audit. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I got a copy of the letter. That's why I feel comfortable saying there was no issues.
Okay. Councillor Barry.
It's just one question. Are we entitled to levy penalties against the provincial government for not having their taxes paid on time?
We are not.
Oh, it's interesting.
We'd have to change our bylaws.
Do we
I don't think that
we
will
send
work
them a letter
either.
and notice?
Oh, we let them know, yes.
So, Paul, if we took the government of Alberta's late taxes out, that 87% might grow to closer to 91.
I would say if we took that out, just give me a second here, your worship. So I just got my workbook right here. That would get us to 96%.
That would be a little above our norm,
Yeah,
our average.
Yeah.
Good job. I'd like to really thank the citizens of this community. I know that not everybody is, had the best year, and the fact that everybody did find a way and to get us here, it's because we're budgeting based on what we were bringing in, and we all know how tight our budget is. So, Councilor Rudick, you had something?
I just think that that Mr. Casey has highlighted another agenda item to add to our meeting with the MLA. That is a bit of a concern that the province has not remitted their taxes, even though they intend to, and I'm sure that they will pay them. But that is a bit of a concern that it hasn't been paid yet.
So she should bring her checkbook. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Casey.
you're welcome.
Next up, Manager Cliff.
Good afternoon again. Just an update on the C1 incentives I had talked about in December. The C1 incentive payments were completed and distributed by the mayor and the Economic Development Advisory Board chair in December. So, and there was 6 of them in total. So very good. As a senior leadership, we met yesterday and we discussed the additional COVID measures that were put in place by the province effective the first week of December. We are going to keep our measures in place until we know what the province will be announcing on January 11. So just as a reminder, what that is some employees will continue to be working from home. The main doors to the town office are locked, but there's contact information posted on the doors and on the website. Access to the town office is by appointment, or they have to phone if they're coming up to pay a bill. We'll go down and meet them. Payments can be made in the lockbox at the main doors, online, or through your financial institution. I've had a couple meetings with ZAG Creative, and this is for economic development, regarding the update and continued support for the board, ECDEV board initiative, broad awareness campaign. We will have an update for the board when their meeting is planned for January, and then we'll be advising council to what the decision is from that. For our council meeting on Monday, what format would council like to have for the meeting? So in person or in Zoom?
Well, any thoughts, anybody? Councillor Bodziak?
I'm going to say continue with Zoom. That would be my preference.
Okay.
Councillor Warwa?
My preference is obviously in person, but I just don't think we should jump there yet, especially when we're encouraging people as much as we can to do so much from home.
Well, and we got Counselor Lemko, we'd have to have a break and let him have a nap and get some electrolytes into him and stuff. I imagine by Monday, he'll be a little spruce here.
Yeah, no, I'm up for zooming.
Okay, Zoom it is.
Okay, and I have a couple items for the closed session.
Okay, just some clarification. So we got some seminars, law seminars coming up here right now. So they're open to council. Who will be doing the registration on them? Do them ourselves, or you'll be doing them, Sandra? So
Yeah, council could notify Sandra. We'll put the registrations in. There is no cost for either of the seminars.
okay, so but there is a cost to the taxpayers if they're taking both. So council, please decide on one or the other, and that's the way we'll be able to handle this on your at the end of the month. Okay, is there anything else anybody wants to bring up or go forward with before we go into closed session? Seeing none, I'd take a motion to go into closed session. Councillor Lemko, thank you very much. Does anybody need a small break, or Mr. Casey, you would like to have a short break? Okay. Okay, everybody take a couple of minutes and we'll come back.